How's it going, guys? It's the final render here. The Fallout 76 beta is just 6 days away. I'm really starting to feel the hype from the Fallout community, and things are getting very exciting. In fact, if you pre-ordered the game on the Microsoft Store on the Xbox, you can actually pre-download the beta right now, so you can get ready to start jumping into the beta the moment it goes live. And we're going to be doing lots of Fallout 76 beta coverage on the 23rd of October. So make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to make sure you get all the fantastic Fallout 76 content on day one. So in this video, we're going to do a little bit of discussion about not only what I think you should do when you first get the game, but also what I'm going to do when I first get the game. So let's get hyped for Fallout 76. Also, a very big thank you to the YouTuber Camelworks, who is letting people use some of the footage he recorded at the Bethesda Greenbrier event. Thank you very much for letting us use your footage, buddy. Link to all of his content is in the description below. So after you wake up in the vault with a hideous hangover, you are going to want to make your character. Now, making your character isn't too much of a big deal in Fallout 76 because you can actually change your physical appearance, even change your gender at any time you want throughout the entire playthrough. But to tell you the truth, it might sound a bit sexist, but I might go with a female character again because I have a suspicion that there will be some male players who just won't shoot at me if I'm playing as a female character, until of course they speak to me and they realise I'm a male and then they start shooting at me. But hey, I think that would be a good way to not get shot at in the future. But then after that, of course, you are going to want to grab the Pip-Boy. I presume you probably can't even leave the room without grabbing the Pip-Boy, but it is an important thing to do. And then you can start exploring the vault. You actually can't come back into here unless you actually make a new character. So make sure if you want to do some exploring, make sure you do it. There are actually little terminals with some lore and stuff you can read, so make sure you read all of that. But also, before you leave the vault, they do give you some very essential supplies. They give you some purified water and some Rad-X, which will help keep rads away and stop you dying of thirst. You can also grab 5 stimpacks and some Radaway. Again, Radaway has always been one of those quite rare resources, so make sure you grab that. You can also grab some building supplies, which looks like the blue backpack. After that, you can grab the party hat, which is clearly the most important part of the game. Sure, they look a bit goofy and the bit of elastic string really hurts your neck after a while, but party hats are always important. After that, you want to grab the camp system. The camp system is how you build in Fallout 76, and without this, you won't be able to build until you find a new one. And you probably can't find a new one until you find an overseer camp, part of the main story, which you might not do for like another 20 minutes or so. So if you want to build a camp before you go and do the main quest, make sure you grab it here. Now we've grabbed some of the starter items, we need to grab our very first perk cards and choose a point to put into special. You actually get to put 1 point into special every time you level up until you hit level 50. And you will be given new perk cards every 2 levels until you hit level 10. And then after level 10 you will get them every 5 levels, I want to say. And to start off with here, they've given you one option for every type of special point. For the strength, we can choose the Gladiator, which gives us an extra 10% damage with one-handed melee weapons. For perception, we can choose concentrated fire, which lets us target specific limbs with VATS and also gain accuracy and damage per shot. Obviously, VATS, it just targets the entire body without this perk, but if you want to specifically target legs or arms, you will need this perk. For endurance, you can pick Lead Belly, and the Lead Belly perk means you take 30% less rads from food or water. Now that doesn't sound like too much, but over the course of eating lots of food, say if you just spammed lots of water because you need to heal up very quickly, 30% rads actually does add up to quite a lot. So that may be quite a good one to choose if you are someone who uses food to heal yourself a lot. Charisma will give you the Inspiration perk, and this gives you 5% more XP when you are in a team. Now again, 5% does not sound like much, but if you know you are going to be in a team very often, especially at the very start of the game, an extra 5% for everything you do at the start of the game will mean you can level up very quickly. So that would be a very good one to choose if you know you are going to be in a squad. Intelligence will actually give you the first aid perk, which means stimpacks restore an extra 10% of health. It doesn't say if it also restores 10% more health on diluted stimpacks, which is a new type of stimpack you can get, which isn't quite as good, but 10% more health could be useful. And of course we already have some stimpacks, so it is essentially like having an extra half a stimpack with us, so not bad, right? Also for the agility, we can pick the Action Boy, and this will give us action points regeneration that is 15% faster. Again, 15% does not sound like much, but in the grand scheme of things, if you are, say, running away from a monster, your sprint is actually taking points from your action points, remember, then you can actually regenerate your sprint much quicker. So that would actually be a good thing to do if you find a very big enemy like a Deathclaw straight away. And for the luck special, we have the Farmer perk, which gives us 40% extra chance of finding first aid when we search chem containers. 40% is not a number to be sniffed at. That is an awful big boost to find chems, and especially in the early game, having lots of chems would actually give you a source of income if you don't intend to use some of those chems, but I presume it would also include things like stimpacks as well from medical containers. So that would actually be a really good one to pick to start with also. Me personally, I think I'm either going to go with the Farmer perk or the Gladiator perk first, because extra 40% of finding chems would obviously keep me alive, and the extra Gladiator ability means I can do more damage with melee weapons. And I imagine I'm not going to have much ammo at the start of the game, so doing more damage with melee weapons I think would be a very good investment. Once you have left the vault and smelt the fresh air for the first time in 25 years, it is time to start exploring West Virginia. Something which you can do first is speak to one of the Mr. Handy robots. They will actually kind of give you some more information on your first quest to go and find the Overseer, who is very near the town of Flatwoods, just to the south. That is the kind of first objective of the main story, but of course if you don't want to do that, here is something else you can do. Just to the right of where you spawn out of the vault, you can find a dead body which actually has a gun. It is a 32 caliber pipe pistol. And a little bit further to the right, you should also be able to find a truck, I don't have any footage of this I'm afraid, which has some frag grenades and some landmines in there. So if you want to go and get some guns and weapons straight away, go immediately to the right after you leave the vault and grab those. And also, if you go immediately to the left after leaving the vault, you can find the body of a responder. And the responder does have a machete on the body and a note saying to head to Flatwoods. So therefore you can get a melee weapon and you can get a gun and some explosives as soon as you leave the vault. Not much of any of them, granted. That's why I plan to use the machete, because you don't have much ammo and you don't have much explosives. You want to save those for some of the bigger enemies at the early start of the game. So now you've got some weapons, it is time to start exploring West Virginia. It's up to you what you do now really, but me personally, I am probably going to head to Flatwoods as part of the main story quest to start with, because I want to access the Overseer's stash box, which is at her camp. The stash box is something you want to be very familiar with. It is a box that you can build in your camp system, and this is your safe deposit box. This is where you can put all of your resources and other players cannot take it. So once you have got some resources, you want to start building a camp straight away. You don't have to decorate it or anything. You just want to build your stash box so you actually have a safe place to dump all of your junk. This is very important because you actually have much less carry weight in Fallout 76 than you will in, say, Fallout 4, because your scrap is going to be much more important to carrying around with you. And not only that, but once you actually have your stash box built, you are able to offload your stuff and then unload it at any stash box you find. A stash box is kind of like an ATM. Any stash box you find is your stash box, and you are able to deposit items in there as much as you want. I believe you can find other stash boxes at Red Rocket gas stations and also at railroad stations. So if you find a stash box, dump all of your loot in there, it is now yours. And of course, if you didn't pick up a camp station, heading to Flatwoods is where you would pick it up now. But once you've got your camp system and you've got your stash box, it is time to do what I'm really looking forward to doing. Just strip mining all of West Virginia. My plan is to go to every little town, get my camp built as close to the town as possible. I don't think you can build inside certain towns, but I'm going to build my little stash box as close to the town as possible. And then I'm just going to strip mine every resource out of that town. I'm going to kill every enemy in that town to get every bit of experience. I'm going to loot every container. I am going to find everything there is to find in the town, store it in my stash box, and then move on to the next town and start strip mining that by moving my camp nearer to that new town as well. It is important to note that you will actually have to pay a cap fee in order to move your camp. So therefore, if you only found 10 caps in the previous town, and to move it to the next town it's going to cost 20 caps, then it might be an idea to just find some more caps before you start strip mining the next town. but that's going to be my plan. Just move my camp to every little town and every little campsite I find, so I can just strip mine the place and get as much resources as possible. So I can actually start doing building videos, because I would love to do building videos, but I'm going to need to play the game a lot in order to have enough resources to do so. So that is what I'm going to do once I start playing Fallout 76. Something else I would quite like to do is explore some of the key locations, such as the Mothman Museum, the Greenbrier Hotel, and also the Mama Dulce's food processing plant. That's very near the Greenbrier. I want to check that place out, because I still have that theory that that place is where all of the Liberator robots are spawning from. So I want to check that out. But really, it's up to you what you do. In this game, there's probably more freedom to do whatever you do than in any other Fallout game. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. We are going to be doing lots and lots of Fallout 76 content once the beta starts in 6 days' time. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to meet some of you guys in West Virginia. Remember to check out all the cool Patreon people in the description below who help support the channel with their financial donations. You yourself, of course, can also do the same. And also, please consider becoming a YouTube member. Please consider hitting the join button beneath the video you're watching right now to help support me that way as well. So, until next time, I've been the final render and you've been the audience. Bye bye for now.